Hey, what's up? This is going to be hopefully a quick unboxing. Uh, New watch, and you can see it's a Fortis. And just a quick backstory on how I ended up with this. There was a few weeks ago, right around the one around wind up in San Francisco. The day that it opened, Manta put out a limited edition of 50 pieces for their Sky Quests with the white opening dial, and it's got the Pepsi bezel with some gold accents. Really nice watch. And Yeah, sold in 15 minutes or something like that, real quick. And right then they opened at about noon, I think. And I knew that was coming up, and I was monitoring that, and I put a pre-order on that. And yeah, I was one of the few lucky ones that were able to get one, and so we just had to wait till about July for it to start going shipping out. But you know, I got to thinking about it over the time, and I actually got to see it in person and in the metal. You can see it in my video too that I did at the SF windup. But I got a chance to see the that very watch and try it on, and it looks nice, of course. Well built, and I've been looking to get a Manta in for some time, and that seemed to be it. I mean, I have this thing for Pepsi bezels, and this one has a really unique design, but I just started thinking about it. It all looks super good and it's well built and all of that. Um, it seemed a little bit fancy for me. I think it was excuse me, trying to burp. I just drank some soda. I think it was because of the mix of the white opaline and the gold accents on there that made it look a little bit um, just just a little more dressier, I guess, to me in my eyes. Perhaps if they still had the black dial version, which they had before, which sold out pretty fast too, but I think it was a higher quantity of production run than the white ones. But perhaps it was black instead, because that was basically the main difference. It was still Pepsi with the gilt accents and black dial. Maybe that would have been better, but anyways, the white one came out. It's very nice, but I try to imagine myself what I'm gonna wear practically, like what really suits my style and my lifestyle, what I have to do, and I can see that being on wrist, but at the same time, um, I felt a little bit dressier than I don't do that. I'm blue collar worker. On the weekends, I'm t-shirts. I mean, even if I did dress up, it wouldn't be that often. And you don't have to dress up for that watch, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems fancy. And so, anyways, long story short, or short, trying to shorten it, is that yeah, I pulled my pre-order back from it. I told them to cancel it, and well, whoever, if they got up on the site and anyone's been checking, I don't even know what they do with it, since I think pretty much everyone gave up and figured it was all sold out. But there would be one more available because I gave up my pre-order. So whoever got that, however that went, congrats. You're welcome. Whatever you want to say. It's just yeah, I just think it was a little too fancy for my style, and I am curious, like, since they're phasing out that SkyQuest for, I believe, a version 2 later, maybe I should just wait for that and see what happens there. Hopefully they'll bring that color combination back or something else. At least something with a Pepsi. I like Pepsi Pepsi for GMTs, but my guess is if it's not just a cosmetic redesign, they may perhaps be working on some way to get an actual true or traveler's GMT working, so that you get to do the jump hour instead of your typical like ETA based 2893-2 GMT movement, where all you can do is on the second crown position you can only advance the GMT hand, but you pull it all the way out. You can't jump hour forward or backs, which would be more useful. So fingers crossed they find a way to make that happen, and without making the watch too big. That would be pretty cool, because the only ones that I know that have that kind of capability, or do have that capability, is I think there's a Seiko Presage that has that, but I forget what the dimensions are. But I'm not too keen on the date disc. There's like a little 6 o'clock date disc on the bottom that has a pointer on that. And I think it's too small, and I don't like that. I'd rather have a traditional date window. It does have a power reserve, but you can jump out of the hands on that one of some of those new Presage GMT models. And I believe in the Swatch Group, Hamilton, and at least Mito, or is it Mito? Mito. They have a couple, one or two, maybe just color variations of a particular model. But they're kind of big. They're like 43 or 44 millimeters, and they're not particularly thick, I think. They're not really thin either, but the biggest thing is the dimensions of that case. They're like 40 something. It's like, and I haven't seen anybody with that, using that particular movement in the Swiss movement, that are able to get any smaller than that so far I've seen. So it's a bit of a pity. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But anyways, me blabbing on. We want to get to this. So I at the wind up, as well, I got to see Fortis, and you see it in my video. And I actually talked to them quite a bit, and I was interested in their new Marine Master. Actually, they have an even newer watch. The Strato, it's a Stratoliner, that one that chronographed movement that went to space, and now they have a chronograph for it. They did sneak peek, let me see that. I couldn't record it or take pictures, but I did check it out. They did say, you want to check it out? And then I did on the side, off camera. Pretty cool, but not quite my style. It's very tooly. But I felt, and you can see from the pictures, that the dial looks pretty flat. There's not a lot of dimensions, unlike, this is a Wishwatch check. This is my SBEC 005. Limited edition, 50th anniversary, Seiko Prospex. It's a celebration of their speed timer chronographs from the late 60s, 70s, right? Except it looks totally different, but still, I think I like the way they did here with this offset kind of chronograph look. I don't know. I just love the details and the way this generally looks. And I should stop this because I forgot what I was timing. Anyways, so I went to Fortis and I checked out their Marine Master. It looks actually better in person. I like the gray version. Quite nice, actually. And also a couple of their Fliegers. And the Fortis does have several Fliegers, but the newest ones are the F39s, 41s, and I think a 43. I think the GMT is a 43. They have a chronograph that's at least a 41, if not a 42. No, that's why I think it's F41. And or maybe it's an F43 as well. I forget. Sorry. I didn't concentrate on the GMT or chronographs as much. I was more interested in just their straight three-handed Fliegers, and they come in 41, so it's the F41 and the F39. For my wrist size, about 7 inches, just under that. The 39 seemed right, and I tried it, looked at it, and it stuck with me all this time in my head. So eventually I thought, I've been wanting a Flieger, but not a traditional type A or type B, like that styled after the ones from World War II, with the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force used. Those are cool, but I could never get myself to pull a trigger on one. It just seems so. Don't be mad for those who love it, but it does seem a bit generic, or you can just say maybe classic. But there's either the A or B types. There's some slight variations on them, but basically any brand pretty much can do an A or B type, and they all look the same, and the price can vary from a couple hundred, or maybe even less if you go for something from AliExpress, I guess, but to several thousands, like from IWC or something. And it's like, well, for that style, I wouldn't spend that much for it myself to get like an IWC. I'm sure the quality and the brand heritage and everything is all there, but for something that where you look at it and other than seeing the brand name on the dial, you won't be able to tell that dial from multi-thousand-dollar watch version from one that's maybe under 100, you know, just from the general design, even from a distance or something. So I don't know. I I figure I need something special. I need something that's kind of drawing from that, but today's age, I'm just trying to imagine again myself. Would I wear it that much? And I could see myself wearing it, but I can see myself getting bored of those classic A or B dials myself. That's why I never pulled the trigger on one. And so when I saw the Fliegers, the F-39s, I said, yeah, that actually looks cool. You see the um, the heritage of the Flieger design, classic, but it's just in a much more modern package and size and built and everything. And in my mind, I just think it's kind of cool to associate this kind of Flieger pilot's watch to someone that might use it. I can imagine them using it for modern day or the near future, maybe in far future, of advanced jet fighters, F-18s, Eurofighters, the new or whatever the Russians have. Just some modern, uh, um, jet fighters. I can see them wearing something like this, besides maybe an IWC or something else. But this is kind of fits what I imagine and I would like, and I think it's different. And I don't see too many people have this, and it's cool design. So let's get into it. Rambled on for about almost 12 minutes here. So I just got this in, and it's a nice box. Got texture. It's pretty solid. It's not cardboard, I don't think. Oh, let's see. It's this wristwatch automatic, first automatic wristwatch. I think that's what, if TGV, if I remember what TGV said, I think they are maybe one of the first ones to make automatic watch for to be commercially available. Let's see, is there anything under here? There's these orange tabs here. You would think maybe this would pull up, but is there anything underneath here? Oh yeah, see? But I guess the weight of the watch. I'm just curious what's under here. The extra links. So, and a tool. This looks like a nice, it's probably better than what I usually use. This is a screwdriver. Swiss tools. Is it labeled Fortis? Yes, it is. Swiss made. I wonder. There's nothing under here, right? I think maybe this is just to put it on so that you can turn and spin it. And you know how those jewelry screwdrivers, I wonder, is there another? Whoa. Okay, you can extend it, and there's a bigger head on this side. I was just curious if there was more like, nibs or whatever ends here that you can swap it out with on the inside of this thing, but not really. Is it? But there is just another screwdriver in the inside, which is cool. And cleaning cloth. So yeah, so as a service, they can complimentary size the bracelet. Hopefully they did it right. For my 7-inch wrist, we shall see. I trust they know what they're doing, but we will see in a moment. Actually, before I do that, I want to maybe tuck away my receipt on this thing. I actually get it through the wind-up shop. Why? Well, I'm not going to get into it, but it's was seemed more convenient at the time. And here we go. Really wrapped around this pillow. I guess they size it down, and here it is. Let's get it unwrapped. And I did get it on the bracelet because this has this nice adjustment system in here where you can just collapse it down and pull it out and just ratchet it down. That's just cool. Always good to have something like that, so you don't have to use tools to adjust. This doesn't even have micro adjust. Let's see, where is the opening? There you go. Yeah, I thought, no, they didn't scratch the crystal already, did they? But there is AR on the top and bottom of this thing, so it should be super clear. And you can see it's actually a blue, I believe it's kind of a bluish AR, which is fine. You know, originally when I was trying this on and at the wind up, they had both models, this and the blue brush one, but then the indexes here were white instead. And I think that's basically the only difference. It has a nice blue brush dial on there. And normally that comes on like this bluish gray strap, but you can actually order it with the this bracelet as an option as well, which is what I would do. You could always replace a two-piece leather strap or something aftermarket fairly easily, but generally buying a bracelet, as a general rule, that's why I always try to buy a bracelet. It's harder and usually more expensive to try to get it afterwards. Some places may not even sell you a bracelet for a specific watch, unless you bought it with it. So anyways, yeah, so anyways, I was going for the blue, but then I thought about it and I was thinking, you know what, as nice as that looks, I'm thinking, okay, in my head, you know, I like to get something that I imagine a modern jet fighter pilot would wear, and a blue could work, and it's a very dark midnight blue, and it will just pop when you get in the right color or angle of light. But I imagine the more serious pilot or whatever would just go straight black, classic black and silver. And plus the way these are green, tinted or colored, I've seen some kind of Thule pilot watches that have this kind of color scheme as well, and that this all combines together to make me feel like this is the look for a modern jet fighter pilot. Would probably don on the wrist, and you can see it's got screws here, so it's very heavy duty. The only watch that I've ever owned that had that kind of system was a Helson and Shark Diver. That's a good, really nicely built watch. It is too bad that these are 21 millimeters. It's the same size as what they put on the 40 F-41, the 41 millimeter, which that I can imagine would be better proportion, slightly larger with still keeping that 21 millimeter bracelet. But it is what it is, and I don't mind. I can definitely fit my 20s in there, or you can kind of force fit a little bit. I mean, it's only a or half a millimeter difference either side if I try to put 22s in there, which I have some, but I will try to find something that will perfectly match at 21. There's some that I wanted to get, but they sold out, so I'm going to wait a little bit till they restock, and I will share those options once I get them in. But in the meantime, I'll probably enjoy it on this bracelet, and maybe play around with the 20s or 22s that I have just to try it on for the meantime. I'm sure it'll be passable for the time being until I get the proper size ones. I don't actually think I have any 21 millimeters. I have 19s, I even have 18s, but I don't have 21s. I think the only other watch I had a 21 millimeter that I can recall, I believe it was the Seiko Flightmaster, that black and yellow, really complicated, almost Navitimer looking, quartz chronograph. Pretty sure that had an odd width of 21 as well, and I fit 20s or 22s, and so screw it, works. I didn't feel like buying a new set of straps. So, you see he's got these nice, what did they call it? It's not Brexit, brick something, Brexit. there's basically they're like three-dimensional brick, three-dimensionally three-dimensional loom appliques, and you can see some watches doing that. I think Christopher Ward has done that in some of their limited edition special models. And what else? Um, I'm thinking Vortex. They do like these field watches that were from World War II. You might have seen them. Pretty cool, Dirty Dozen style with a small seconds usually, and they have the Arabic numerals that were kind of really thick 3D. Almost looks like the 3D printed, but they're three-dimensional loomed numbers. And I think this is basically the same concept. I forget who else is using this now. Is this Longines? No. Well, you can say maybe. Well, it's not. I think it's different material and technology, but that recent Tudor, the Tudor Pro, the GMT with the yellow GMT hand. If you look at their vintage kind of colored loom, it is actually 3D. Uh, very. It's got dimension to it too, similar to this. But anyways, I just love how serious tooly this looks. And for a pilot watch, and I don't have one. I've avoided getting one for. I mean, I wanted one, but I just haven't found the right one. Again, I couldn't decide on an A or B dial for the classic Flieger, and I just didn't see myself using it that much. It didn't seem special enough to me. It looks rather, again, too classic or too generic. Picture your vocabulary on how you want to call it. And what else was there? Fortis makes some other Fliegers that were kind of cool. That's not your typical Flieger design. It's more stylized and I guess more modern. Those are pretty cool too, and I almost got one with the small seconds and stuff, and they're pretty slim too. But when I saw this, I wasn't too sure in pictures and videos at first, but when I finally saw it in person at the wind-up, that's why it's really great to go to these things. Get you to spend more money. No, but seriously, just to, pictures and even videos can't translate how it actually looks in person and wears on wrist. So I'm going to remove this and let's check to see if they got the sizing right on this guy. Do they know what they're doing over there? It is still a bit loose. I told him 7 inches, damn it. Let's see. This is the extended, so if I push it in all the way, I think maybe they set it up so that it can accommodate my wrist for expansion, but I do believe I could probably lose one more link. Because for one thing, even if I expand it, I don't think I need this much expansion. My wrist don't expand that much. So I usually would take it, see how many clicks is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 positions. That's quite a bit. We'll see where it is once I remove one more of these links. But I'm thinking I'll try to get one, 2, 1, 2. Somewhere in the middle is where I think would be ideal. Where it's basically 4 clicks in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's it. Somewhere there. Well, I'll play with it after remove one more link. Because again, tying all the way, it's still pretty loose. And but the positioning is about right. I want this to sit here. And on this side, yeah, that's about right. Don't want it too far over. I definitely don't like it when it's too far out. But I think I can live with where this basically sits. Because I'm counting this part of it too. If I remove one more, I think it's going to go over. So let's make sure it's flat. See, it's got a good curvature. I mean, this part of my wrist does kind of shallow, nothing to do about it, but overall, it fit very close and nicely. And yeah, I didn't want to go 41. I think definitely the length, lug to lug will be too long. These are almost 50, I think, but they do curve down really well. So it's not a big deal. You know, again, a pilot watch, really serious one, should have some decent presence. And I think for my wrist size, this looks about right. Any bigger, and it's these guys will probably be too overwhelming. It may still be able to just hug it, but I don't want to push my limit on that. And I think overall this looks and wears quite well. So I'm just gonna have to change that. I wonder. Oh, it's like the Zen ones. I'm probably gonna need 2 screwdrivers to attack both sides so that you know you can counter twist it and pull it apart. And let's see, hang. Well, you know, lengthwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, 7 links down this way. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And your wrist is never perfectly square. I have to say, well, actually, technically, there's actually like 8 in here. This is one's hidden in there. Just trying to think. I have to do this off camera because I make sure I'm looking at this correctly, because I want to be sure that this clasp, once it's on, is sitting right about here. I want to remove a link. I still might need to take it off from this side. I think that's probably what I'll do. Because I definitely don't want it to ride too much on the outside. I'm going to take out a link in here and do it. Because usually that's how I have it on my wrist. You can see here. Well, it's the way this one folds over too. This one's kind of odd because it has to be kind of more on one side anyways, but on wrist, I know this without micro adjustments, you only have half and full links. This is the best I can get without it being too loose or too tight. You know, when my hand swells up, wrist swells up. So I can get this basic fitment with this, then I know that's right. So it's for if you haven't seen some other videos. Oh, we're gonna check the beds out real quick. Nice. I think it's on ball bearings, unless it doesn't feel like a normal like spring click. I like that it does half hours, because although rare, there are some places in the world that you would have to do a half hour. It's like a weird 1.5 or 3.5 hour difference. But yeah, and I love how concave this looks too. I've only had one other watch that's kind of like that. I mean, actually the old but still, I guess, current turtles, they kind of go inboard, like dip this way, but not as much as this. Not quite as concave. But the only other watch I had before that was the Vostok Europe. Not Bostock, like the Scooby-Doo one. Vostok Europe. Vostok Europe. I think they're actually Ukrainian brand or something like that. I forget. They're not, sort of Russian, but or Eastern European, but I forget their exact origins. But I used to have a few of those, and I remember I had one which was pretty cool, like olive green dial, and do themes after like Russian, I believe, usually Russian like vehicles like spaceships or airplanes, and this one was based off of like a super big uh, 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 like a propeller, I believe it was a jet plane, but it was huge and it could land on water. It's almost called a sea monster or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it had a little picture, like a silhouette of it, or a simple drawing of it on the bottom. Anyways, and it was quite nice. And there have been actually those models were kind of known for using tritium tubes as well. And I remember it had like a nice con concave, I guess, uh, bezel as well, which I don't know, something about that's kind of attractive to me. I can like all kinds of bezels, but I do like when it goes like down like this. Oh, who else is that? Rado, the Captain Cooks. Um, well, the crown is fully tightened pretty much, so it's not. It's too bad they can't get it to line exactly so that this. What is that? Is that Fortis logo crown? It's lined up perfectly where it's even and upright, but whatever. Sometimes if you unscrew it and you find a different thread point, you go down, it actually might stop at a different location, if you know what I mean. Like there's maybe more than one thread catch point, I guess, lockdown point. Just the way the threads are designed, there might be another position just offset where if you start using that one, the crown position might actually end up at a different orientation, maybe even straight. So this is my very long unboxing and just ramble and talk about this watch. Get into review after I've had a chance to use it. But I'm definitely gonna probably set this up pretty fast now. Get this ready because this has been on for at least half a week. Really like this one, but try this now and give it a run, give it a test, start getting some numbers. Hopefully it's dialed in pretty good. Is there anything on the case back? Just that propeller design. And before I do, I probably will remove one more link on this side. That will probably be preferable. But actually, let me see. Maybe I might actually do it on this side just because I probably will. I don't know. With the micro adjust, I generally try to not leave the adjustment point so far in, because something about leaving this flap here, kind of potentially it could kind of pull out from the curvature of the bracelet one on wrist, if you know what I mean. Oh, stupid move. Can't wear two watches not like that. But it's like if it's too much curvature, it might actually start to lift up. But you know what? I don't think that's really going to be an issue. Anyways, I'm going off too much. Thanks for watching, sticking in here just to get a good look at this guy. I know it's not new. It's been out for, oh my God, can't believe it's almost at least 2 years, I think. But it's still a current model, and I think it's a very cool modern take on a Flieger for, good modern pilot watch. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next. Later.